Hi, my name is Justin Lara. This is my presentation on engine failures in flight for a single-engine aircraft. A mnemonic device I use to ensure I complete all the tasks required to successfully handle an engine failure is the ABCs. Depending on the situation, some steps may need to be cut out as a result of limited time. It is important to continue to aviate, navigate, and communicate in that order throughout the emergency. First is airspeed. The new 2021 Airplane Flying Handbook explains the best glide airspeed is used to maximize the distance flown. The best airspeed for gliding is one which the airplane travels the greatest distance forward for a given loss of altitude in still air. Best glide speed is the highest lift-to-drag ratio. Above or below best glide speed, the drag is increased and glide distance is reduced. As seen in this screenshot, according to the POH, the Cessna 172S has a glide speed of 68 knots, allowing for a glide ratio of 9:1. Next, to find a landing site and orient the plane toward that location. With the glide ratio of 9:1, rounding down for more conservative and easier to use numbers, a Cessna 172S could glide roughly 1.5 miles for every 1,000 feet of altitude in calm wind. If it's possible to make it to a runway, that would obviously be the best place to land. Finding nearby airports can be aided by the direct-to function available on many GPSs. The Airplane Flying Handbook describes various factors to consider when selecting a landing site. Choosing a landing site near public access makes it easier for emergency services to reach you. Landing upwind allows for a slower airspeed when touching down. If at night, choosing an unlighted area helps to ensure that those on the ground won't be harmed. For example, in the image on the bottom, I would aim for the dark area on the right. Completing checklist is the next step. This checklist was created by my flight school based on the information provided by the Cessna 172 POH. The items in the red box are items that should be committed to memory to respond to the situation quickly. I like to use fuel mixture to remember these items. This is in reference to putting the fuel shut-off valve in the forward position, switching the fuel selector to both, turning on the auxiliary fuel pump, and going full rich on the mixture. My uncle is a deputy at our local sheriff's office and the spotter in a helicopter. Recently, he experienced a situation in which the engine failed and the pilot reacted quickly with these memory items. Turns out the engine-driven fuel pump had failed and the engine fired back up when the pilot turned on the electric fuel pump. Next is to declare the emergency. This can be done by contacting air traffic control with a Mayday, Mayday, Mayday call, followed by a description of the emergency, the current location and altitude, the location of which you plan to land, and the assistance required. Air traffic control can be contacted through guard on 121.5, which is monitored by every station in many aircrafts, or another frequency for the controller in the area. If at an untowered airport, it is also important to make radio calls on the airport CTAF. It is important not to change frequencies if already in contact with the controller unless requested. Additionally, you should squawk 7700 on the transponder and activate the plane's ELT. Finally is executing the emergency landing. The Airplane Flying Handbook explains that the landing should be done in a normal landing attitude at the slowest possible airspeed. If the approach is unstable or outside references cannot be seen, the plane should be held at a level attitude until the ground is contacted. If at night, the landing light should be turned on with adequate time to see terrain. The ignition, fuel shut-off valve, and avionics and master switches should be turned off, and the doors should be unlatched prior to impact. After landing, occupants should evacuate the aircraft and meet upwind to stay away from dust, debris, and smoke. And lastly, these are my resources. Thank you for watching.